G'day and welcome to HerdFlow. This video will outline the steps to generate reports within the HerdFlow platform. If you have not already, please ensure that you've watched the Quick Start Setup video and also the video on entering transactions. The reports within the platform require all transactions to be entered for the period, and as such, please return to that step if it's not yet completed. The 4 reports available in the platform are the annual performance report, the sales analysis, a stock return, and herd emissions. Firstly, the HerdFlow annual performance report generates key HerdFlow metrics based on the herd performance for your company, business unit, and any enterprise within the operation. Anywhere in the report that you can see a highlighted green option, it allows for a click-through to give further detail on the calculation and more insights on each number. This can be run for any period within the platform, and also, as I mentioned, on each level of the company structure for business units and enterprises. These metrics are standardized and provide a way to compare not only your own business year to year, but also to industry benchmarks, such as the ones published in the Australian Beef Report. Underneath the bubbles, we have a table that calculates the gross profit for the beef business. This details the head, kilograms, and dollars that are sold both externally and internally, and also the purchases both externally and internally within the business. A key piece of information that HerdFlow provides is the inventory change piece. Without this, we're unable to calculate productivity and profitability within a beef business. Inventory change, again, can be clicked on, which details the calculation and the change from opening head, opening kilos, and value, and the change over the year to those closing numbers. The waterfall chart on the right-hand side is a visualization of the movement to generate the gross profit, the sales, purchases, and inventory change for this example. You can also toggle on the change in productivity in terms of kilograms produced and the change in head over the year. How many animals came in via natural increase and purchases, and then were subtracted off the herd with sales and mortalities. Underneath these tables is a copy of the stock return report. This gives a snapshot and overview of the reconciled herd from the start of the period, plus any additions to the herd, including any transfers between categories, and minus any sales or deaths from each category. This reconciled herd informs the inventory calculation and also the annualized animal units that are calculated within the system. Again, each of these numbers can be clicked on to generate a list of transactions that add up to that number. Any click-through or report can be exported either to PDF or Excel. The Excel reports contain multiple fields which allow for further analysis outside the platform. The next report is the sales analysis report. The 2 main functions of the sales analysis report is to check against the actual sales recorded and the growth path that's applied in the animal production scenarios. Please refer to the Quick Start Guide if you've used the default scenarios and would like to set up a custom scenario for your business. This graph tracks the actual sales in blue dots, their actual live weight against their age, which is calculated for each cohort of animals based on the median birth month and the age year applied to each group within the system. As you can see, in this example, the sales are occurring on generally across that age of the animal on both sides of that growth path. And if there was any discrepancies, we could use this to inform future growth paths within the system, which would refine the calculation not only of animal units, but also of inventory weights used to calculate inventory change and gross profit. Below this graph, and by sex available in the platform, we can see the actual sales and plot them against the market available at that point in time. These market indicators are updated daily via an API to the MLA reporting service and allow you to see your actual transactions and also any internal transactions that are recorded against the market at that point in time. Again, any of these can be exported with all fields available for further analysis. The next report is the stock return. We've seen this already at the bottom of the annual performance report, but the stock return can be generated for any business unit, enterprise, and also for any period. This can be run monthly, quarterly, for an entire year, or longer if relevant for your business. The system automatically groups the aged animals together within the platform. You can unselect this if you've got accurate numbers on your older animals. It'll provide that detail and still have the same stock return. As in the annual performance report, anywhere that's highlighted green can be clicked to generate a list of transactions and can be exported for further information. This reconciled herd addresses a key limitation in some herd records that we have witnessed in the industry. Without a reconciled herd, we cannot calculate the gross profit and we cannot understand the main driver of profitability within our beef business. The last report available is the herd emissions report. We believe the focus of a beef business should be on maximizing our productivity and profitability per animal unit within the business. But we also acknowledge that there's increasing requests and demand for herd emissions data being requested throughout the supply chain. Because of the standardized way that HerdFlow records your transactions, we have been able to build in the industry standard SB-GAF calculations to generate any herd emissions without any additional data entry by the user. The herd emissions for a specialized beef producer generally take up 70 to 80% of your total business emissions. So the number here is the vast majority of the emissions produced by your beef business. We have also developed a downloadable emissions calculator tool, which allows for emissions intensity and total business emissions to be calculated. This has been reviewed by CSIRO and is verified to be consistent with the SB-GAF tool and the national inventory calculations. The numbers generated within the HerdFlow platform can be directly entered in terms of herd emissions, emissions from purchased cattle, and kilograms of productivity entered into the spreadsheet to generate your total business emissions and emissions intensity. Again, these numbers can be exported and shared with the relevant stakeholders. As mentioned, anywhere in the platform that you can highlight light green, you can click through and obtain further information, and also export the data for any further analyses or sharing within or external to your business. Thank you for your time.